Good morning. I'm just going to this morning sit down and talk a little bit about how to trim your herb garden. We did a video a few days ago on, I think, basil, a couple other things. This morning what I want to do is I want to do some oregano, some thyme, and some parsley. And as I've mentioned before, we dry the products. We take them, trim them, wash them, put them in our dehydrator, and once they're dry, I'll crush them up, put them in a little jar, and put a mason jar, and put a lid on them, and we have our herbs for all year long. This right here, this morning, is oregano. This oregano was put back in here March 5th, and I've been trimming it about every week to 10 days ever since. Started these from seeds, all of these plants from seeds in my basement with a grow light. But I'm going to stand up here and we'll zoom in a little bit and I'll show you exactly how we cut them. On the oregano, this one actually started flowering a little bit. We were gone for a few days, and I try to keep them trimmed before they flower, but don't always catch them that quick because they do grow fast. On oregano, it's a lot like basil. You look in here and it's got a woody stem a little bit at the bottom. So what I do is I come down to where it's nice and green, and they call it a shoulder. That's one of my terms I guess I picked up and stuck with for a long time. Shoulder being this right here, where you have two limbs or leaves coming off of the main stem. And I cut them there because it'll promote new growth. So hopefully you can see this right there. And I'll just go all the way around this plant and do the same thing. And oregano will grow very, very fast. And once you've trimmed it, within a week, 10 days, I'll have every bit of this same amount again to trim off probably sometime late next week. Go to the grocery store, oh, I don't know, $5, $6, $7 for a little bit of trimmed herbs. Start your own plant from seed. Keep it trimmed. You could keep it out in the yard, or some people actually put them inside in a window box where they've got a little bit of sunshine and keep them trimmed and watered. But pretty simple, pretty easy to do. You never want to cut off, they say, more than about 25%, maybe a third of the leaves. On this one, this plant's pretty thick, so I'm going to do a little serious trimming on this one today, because your plants get nutrients through the leaves and through the soil, so you don't want to cut off all the leaves. But there we go, we've got a lot of oregano. So we're going to slide this to the side, and then I think what we'll do, we'll pull our thyme over. Thyme will grow over the pot down to the floor and onto the ground. So on thyme, you really do need to keep it trimmed. What I do, there again, I look at the stems that are coming out that are kind of turning to brown, a little woody, and I'll leave that because the new growth will come from there. But pretty simple, just take a pair of scissors and trim this all the way around. and it's kind of trained that it's growing one way, so I'm going to leave that alone, and next 2 weeks this will be grown right back, and it'll tend to fall right where it fell before. And if you're looking for something good this winter, pretty easy to take some time, dry it, and use it all winter long. So we'll set that aside. And the next one is parsley. Parsley is a little bit different in that it's not as dense a plant. It has a lot of leaves, a lot of limbs that fall, and all of your new growth usually comes from the center of the plant. So what I typically do is go around and I'll trim these larger leaves, larger stems, and they will put on new leaves, but the majority of all your new growth is going to come here in the bottom and right from the middle. So I'll leave these, but I'll trim off these big ones that have kind of fallen over. And dry this product, and we'll have it all winter. So it's kind of simple, kind of easy to do. I think I'll leave that. I'll leave the new stuff coming up out of the bottom or the middle. I trim any of these that look like they've dried a little bit on the tips to promote some new growth. But pretty simple, that's it. We've got a lot of fresh herbs that we'll have for the rest of the year. I'll keep trimming them throughout the whole summer. Some of these we'll replant in the spring, but the majority of these, if we put them in the house, put them in a window that's got a little bit of light, keep them watered, we'll have them next summer too. So I appreciate you guys joining in. If we were helpful, go to our site, subscribe, and share it with your friends. Appreciate it. You have a great afternoon.